The goal of this event is to accelerate education and investment across the climate tech ecosystem. And we hope everyone took away lots of valuable new ideas and relationships. When I reflect on the conversations at this summit compared to the past 2 years, it is striking how the climate tech world is growing up. In particular, we're seeing less PowerPoint and spreadsheet fantasies and more of what I call real-world conversations. What happens when startups take their proven technology to the market and encounter entirely new kinds of headwinds, including customer development, permitting puzzles, and the engagement with local communities? As in, are you really going to build that plant here? Some of these real-world conversations are breakthroughs to the positive as the startups get to a level of scale and affordability that quickly beats the timeframes anyone would have expected them to hit. More often than not, hard problems require patience and persistence, taking an extra year or 3 to trigger the exponential growth or savings that justifies venture capital investment. I was struck how in the session yesterday on scaling carbon removal, the 3 founders, all of whom are building real-world facilities at this time, said that their biggest challenges were permitting and getting buy-in from local communities, as well as pricing and technology. Verdox's Brian Baines was forthright when he pointed out that the carbon capture sector still needs better technology to get to better economics. That's a good reminder that there is still a huge need for more innovation and discoveries to get the climate job done. We also heard quite a bit from founders who are stepping into scaled commercial production and all that that entails, a massive shift in every way for startups. It was sobering as well as inspiring to hear Uma Valetti at Upside Foods discuss opening the Rubicon plant in Chicago, which will produce millions of pounds of cultivated chicken per year once it's complete. I liked how Uma related the project to a recent visit he had to a Tesla factory, where he saw production lines consistently being taken out and down and rebuilt to optimize production. Uma knows that is a window into Upside's new world as the Rubicon plant comes online. This will be hard. Things may look calm on the surface, but the journey of the triumphant entrepreneur is universally filled with unexpected setbacks and just plain guts in getting through to what's required to make the impossible inevitable. It's great to get that behind-the-scenes insight from the world leaders of these technologies. Upside's progress, though, is a fantastic example of what climate tech requires: completely rethinking our means of production. We're at the cusp of scaling dramatic breakthroughs in our food system that will enable us to feed the global population more affordably and more sustainably. A high point for me at the summit was interviewing Vinod Khosla, whose persistence and patience as a climate tech investor is a great lesson for us all. His key advice to founders was spot on. Work on the important problems in climate. Don't dance around the fringes with ideas that will not have a huge impact. Vinod talked about how existing coal and gas plants around the world might be retrofitted with nuclear fusion boilers and launch a new era of affordable green energy building on top of the legacy infrastructure of the petrochemical era. That would save a lot of time in deployment as well as permitting and community approvals, not to mention leveraging existing grid connections. And it helps, including all people, even those previously accused of being climate deniers, in working to solve these massive infrastructure challenges. Climate solutions need to help everyone and get everyone on board if they are to thrive through otherwise torturous political divides. My final point is addressed to investors. Our job is to find, fund, and to the best of our ability, guide founders whose work will have a huge impact on decarbonization. It's a big job. At SOSV Programs, particularly IndieBio and Hacks, that's our constant 24/7 preoccupation. Finding these founders, getting them funded, and launching them on the road to success. We also know that it takes an energetic, deeply capitalized ecosystem of investors to ensure that these companies get the capital they need and deserve. You might be surprised to know that SOSV's climate portfolio has more than 500 co-investors. That may seem like a lot, But the truth is, we always need more. SOSV is the most active climate tech investor in the world, and we are now launching at least 45 new climate tech companies each year from our IndieBio and HAX pre-seed programs. For every $100 million that SOSV invests, there's about $2 billion to $2.5 billion in follow-on capital from our co-investors. We are 100% reliant and dependent on our collaboration with other investors in bringing these startups to market. That deal flow is huge and also a big opportunity for investors. That's why we are gratified that so many new climate funds launched in the past 2 years, and more corporate as well as general VC funds have entered the category. To those of you who don't yet know SOSV, please check in with us. We'd love to talk and introduce you to our spectacular founders and invite you to our launch events and demo days. VCs can reach out to any investor at SOSV by finding the particular investor who specializes in their specific interest area and writing to them at firstname.lastname@sosv.com. And founders can reach out to sosv.com/apply to register their startups for consideration. On that note, thank you for joining the summit. We all have a lot of work to do to beat this climate challenge. Let's get on with it.